everyone. Today is something special because I am going to talk to Fonda from Mind.me project, if I say it correctly. And I'm stoked because we're going to do a series, yes, there he is, Mind.me project, on how to deal with the holidays. Well, some of you might know out there, today is Thanksgiving Day. Of course, normally is a day. Hi!
Hey,
You
how you
spend
doing?
with other people. I'm doing excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a total night owl, so this is the best time of day for me, I suppose, or night, I should say.
Oh yeah.
It's a 1:15 in the night.
Right. Oh wow. Oh, okay.
So I just explained a little bit about that we are planning on doing a series of
hmm
sessions, and so I told them you are from that. So
Yeah.
maybe you want to say something about who you are.
Yeah. Fonda White. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and yeah, I'm just here to join in with Lady Lexi and see what we can come up with.
Yeah. So we don't have we don't celebrate Thanksgiving over here. Of course, it's typically American. I understood earlier today that it has to deal with the Native Americans having offered the Pilgrims
Right. Yeah.
their first crop, as in corn, correct?
hmm Yeah.
So, yeah, I believe that's a beautiful gesture.
Yeah. That's definitely.
So, so I understand that you will be celebrating Thanksgiving alone this time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this year. Yeah. This year, my family went out to Miami, and I stayed back. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Miami sounds good around this time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I don't know, is there flood season already over there in Miami?
I'm not sure. I'm not. My uncle lives out there, so I don't know too much. I've never been out there, so
Okay, okay. Yeah, usually around this time I might be in Florida, but on the West Coast instead of the East Coast. So
yeah. Oh wow.
yeah, I love being in the US, but with COVID and all, it's getting a little bit
Oh
hard
yeah.
to go there. But right before COVID actually hit everyone, as in every
hmm
country, I was in the US, I was in LA. So I
Oh okay.
remember that I was there, and then all of a sudden, I think it was on a Sunday, we weren't allowed to get into a restaurant anymore, and then basically you had to drive with your car. And
Right.
of course, I was staying there, so I didn't have a rental car or anything.
Yeah.
So it was over and done with for me. So that was, and I was actually going to stay there till Thursday. Then they wanted me to stay till Friday, and eventually I left on Tuesday,
mm.
and I arrived home on Thursday. So
Oh wow. It's a
yeah,
trip.
yeah, that was a long trip. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to change flights like 2 times, and it was weird because uh, I was in a red eye, and I believe there were 9 of us, including the staff.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that, yeah, it was completely, it was like, okay, what did I
hmm
end up?
Yeah.
It was so vacant.
Hey, man.
So, so do you want to tell a little bit about what just happened recently? Because um, I understand that you had a girlfriend and that you broke up.
Yeah.
So, is there something you want to
Yeah.
share about it?
Yeah. Yeah. We had broken up. This is the one I thought it was going to be the one for me, and we just basically didn't see eye to eye on different things. She wanted me to be a certain way. I wasn't a certain way. I didn't fit her needs. I didn't, these things that didn't connect together. So it was best for us just to go our separate ways. And, it's hurtful to still now, but, I don't wish any ill will on her. I wish the best for her and everything. So, yeah.
How long were you together, the both of you?
we've been knowing each other for a year and some change, but we were together for about 6 months. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's.
was definitely different.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's. I'm not going to say it's doable if it's been a year, but I guess that if you were together for 6 months, in the same house, that
Hmm.
you probably had your habits and that you created, your own structure together. So how's
Hmm.
that breaking up, no longer having that structure?
Um, it's getting somewhat used to. I gotta get used to it. Um, she actually moved from Illinois to Texas for our relationship, and now she's moving back. So I'm at my mom's house now, and letting her kind of get settled until she leaves, do her thing. But yeah, it definitely takes some time to get used to it, but it's I feel like it's much needed, for us both to kind of do our own things and kind of break free of one another. But it still kind of stings a little bit, So
Yeah, I can understand that. So, but what would you say was the main cause of you breaking up? Is it like you changed, or she changed, or you didn't expect certain things?
I think all the above. I think when we first talked about it, it was great. It was going great. But I think things did change, and expectations were high, and expectations weren't met, and things of that nature. So it just didn't pan out the way we planned. It looks good on paper all the time, but once you're
Hmm.
living in it, it's just different.
Yeah, I know all about it. Had my fair share
Yeah.
of relationships too, and I'm actually in the middle of ending one. But
Oh man.
due to circumstances, we are still married. But I
Mm.
basically live most of the time on my own. So
Right, man.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's the way things are, and due to circumstances, it's financially going to be a huge problem I mean, if we were to officially divorce, that probably would mean that he would have to sell the house and he wants to stay
Mm.
there. And I was like, well, if you want to stay there, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, well, we were together for a couple of decades, so
Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
different story. But I do understand, when it comes to expectations. Um, and I guess that's an important topic for people who consider moving in together.
Hmm.
That you really need to talk about those expectations. Okay, what do you like? What don't you like? What if all those things?
Hmm.
And normally, I don't know about you, but I don't didn't really talk about it. We started dating, and then we started what we call living apart together over here, and
Hmm.
then we bought a house after a couple of years, and
Right.
yeah, and it was all good when we were still doing the same line of work, and when we didn't anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
I um, I started to change and go more into personal development. I think that was the beginning of the end, and then when I became dependent on crutches, it was totally over and done with. Basically,
Mm.
that was that was the stick that broke the camel's back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so
Man.
that's so
Yeah.
if there's one thing that you really loved about the time with your former girlfriend, what would it be?
Oh, the laughs. We had good laughs together. Yeah. So anything from dancing and singing to laughing, we had a good time.
Ah, that's
Mhm.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
So do you still dance and sing together, or is it like no go, you don't see one another anymore?
No, it's pretty much done. So
Okay.
yeah. Mm.
Well, you never know. Maybe when uh, the hurt has diminished a little bit, that you
Hmm.
might spend time together again.
Yeah.
even if just for the fun of it.
Right. Right.
So I
Yeah.
noticed that you've been posting a lot since the last 2 days here on Instagram. So is that when you
Yeah.
started, or is this the reason you started to go on Instagram?
No, I actually was I don't know how many Instagrams I've had, but it's I've actually put up and delete stuff, put up delete stuff, but now I'm like, let's just kind of go forward and be consistent on what I'm trying to do, and so hopefully spread some type of message to somebody who needs to hear it. So I feel like if I keep taking them down and not be consistent, I'm being a little selfish in a way of not spreading my message and sharing my story in a sense. So I was like, hey, let me just keep going and posting.
Hmm. So what makes you take them down? Is that like imposter syndrome?
I hear Evan Carmichael talk about that a lot, but I don't
Okay.
know what that actually is.
Imposter syndrome is basically when you suffer from perfectionism. So you
Mm,
want everything to be perfect, and then if it's not perfect, then you say, "Oh, no, that's not good enough." So when you've posted it, you take it down, or you don't post it at all. So you feel like you're being an imposter because it's not perfect enough.
right. I guess yes, in a sense, and plus not believing in myself enough about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it makes sense.
Okay. From what I've seen, and I haven't seen much yet, I have to be quite honest. Um, You seem like someone who wants to get a very positive message out there.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what if you would be consistent, what would you tell the world?
If I had like a message to speak to the world and say something, um, for one, man, that's a good question. For one, I would say, hope is definitely needed in the world, and I just want to bring back hope into the mental health community because I have a mental health issue myself. I have schizoaffective disorder, which is schizophrenia and bipolar together, and so I just been on this journey to help people and things of that nature to understand their illness and things like that. That's what the Mind Me project is. I haven't created a whole thing with it yet, but I have the name patent. But it's My Illness Never Defines Me, so it's an acronym.
Good. I
So
love that.
so yeah, yeah. So I would have to say that's my mission, is to bring back hope into the mental health community, into the world.
Okay, so how do you deal with this? Do you take medication or?
Yeah, I actually take a injection every 2 months because
Mhm.
that clears out the voices in the head and the seeing figures and stuff like that. And I also have ADHD, so I take
Nice
Adderall for
combination.
that. Yeah, so I take Adderall for that, and so I just try to manage it out and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I have to say, I think you're very brave to just talk openly about it. I don't know how many people would do it, actually say I'm suffering from a combination of schizo, so it's such a hard word to say,
Yeah,
schizophrenia and bipolar disorder combined with ADHD. So, and I'm not sure if people really understand what it is, but um, I did have some clients who suffered from it, so I've
mm.
seen firsthand what it can do to you.
Yeah,
And so that's why my first question was like, do you use medication? Because I do
right, right.
understand that it can be very important, or at least as long as it's monitored.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so one of my clients, he used a traffic light system. So he said,
Oh,
okay, depending on how I feel,
hmm
when I see it going to orange, then I might talk to psychiatrist. Maybe should diminish it, maybe I should up it. But,
hmm
just to make sure that nothing weird happens.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Understandable.
yeah. So what is life like? What has life been like before you were diagnosed and knew how to handle it? I mean, Considering, do you already know how to handle it?
I do at times. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. But
Mm-hmm.
before, I was not handling it so well. Before I was doing a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs I shouldn't have been doing, a lot of things that I was just kind of wilding out in a sense, especially in college at the time, and um, it was definitely difficult. I didn't know what was happening with myself or what was going on, and it was confusing point in my life at that time. Very confusing. It was kind of like I was out of my body, but I'm looking at myself like, do things, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me at the core of who I was, supposed to be. So that's how I was dealing with it. I was doing a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs, a lot of just wilding out type of things, before I actually got diagnosed and understood what it was.
Mm-hmm. So did you actually experience episodes that you thought you were with other people doing stuff while you were actually on your own, or?
Well, no, I actually, well, to that sense, I did have hallucinations a lot. I did have, what do you call it, hearing voices and things like that a lot. Um, it was just a point of time where like I would see like dark figures and things of that nature and to hear voices, and so it was just a lot of hoopla going on in my head and things I was seeing and doing, and but in reality, I was trying to fight those demons, if you will, with a lot of heavy drinking and drugs and stuff like that. So I was just trying to clear out everything, but I was still dealing with it.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of people, and of course, this is dealing with the demons, coming from your mind, is a different story than dealing with the demons because of other circumstances that have happened in your life. But I
Right.
guess the result is the same. You are trying to numb yourself and not be confronted with whatever it is. But
Yeah.
so you have those episodes where you can be like very happy, as in manic, and then sometimes when you used up too much of your energy, then go downhill again and be
Right.
really tired and probably depressed.
Right. Yeah. It's they're called manic episodes on the bipolar section. Because the schizophrenia section that I have is with the voices and hearing stuff, but bipolar is the manic episodes, the highs and lows of
Hmm.
things. Yeah. So one minute I can be really excited, cool, and then one minute I just feel lower than dirt, and it can happen within a minute or 5 minutes, but or an hour or so, but it happens. So trying to learn how to deal and manage those it's been a challenge, especially in my previous relationship I just got out of. So it was definitely something that was difficult to process and things like that.
Oh, I totally believe it. So you actually get a compliment. I don't know if you saw it, but
Oh,
she's saying the same thing.
yeah.
It's so brave that you are doing this. So she
Thank you.
actually said, "Wow, amazing man sharing his experience. Bless him." So
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
yeah. So yeah, I agree with her. I mean, so how when you are in that lower state of mind, close to depression or maybe even suffering from depression at the moment, what do you do to get out of it? Are you capable of getting yourself out of it?
Well, it's funny. I just went through it. Excuse me. After the breakup on Monday, that I was in that zone where I was kind of depressed a lot, but I kept reminding myself, and people, my family and friends helped me. So I think, for one, having a support group around you really can help. But if you're by yourself, excuse me, if you're by yourself, I just remember the people that I have helped and that were like me, and that I'm a firm believer in God as well too. So I just know that God has put me on this earth for a mission and a reason, and so I try to remember that when I'm down or depressed. I try to remember my best. I try my best to remember. It doesn't happen all the time, but I try my best to remember that.
Okay, cool. Do you want to get some water for your throat?
Oh no,
Some
I'm good.
coffee?
I think I cleared it out a little bit. I'm sorry. I was supposed to get some coffee too, but I was like, I'll wait until.
Oh, well,
So,
we can have you get some coffee if you want to.
oh no, no, it's fine.
If
It'll
you
be
don't,
time to
it's okay.
make it and stuff. It's okay. I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, I told you I got my latte, so I'm a huge Starbucks fan. If you can
Oh,
see,
oh yeah, I see it.
that's my year of birth. Don't tell anyone.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Tells you how old I am by now.
No.
So, your family and your friends, did you tell them what you are experiencing? How did they get to understand you? Because they help you out, you say, when you're really down.
Right. Well, so it happened in college when I turned 25, my 25th birthday. It happened in college, and that's when things started to turn around for myself in my life, and hearing voices and seeing different things and dealing with my own mental illness has been happening all my life. But I didn't have the education to know that this is a real thing. I thought everybody, when I was younger, I thought everybody heard voices and saw things. I thought it was maybe God speaking through us or something. But when I was 25, um, it happened in college, and that's when I just kind of quit my job. I quit going out. I quit doing a lot of things, and my family was concerned and was like, "We need to get you home." And so I left home in 2014, and that's when I started to open up more about the things that I was dealing with, within myself. And I think I believe it took about another 2 years to get uh, diagnosed as schizoaffective disorder. And so I went through a lot of things that I was doing and stuff like that. And I think 2017 is when they were like, no, you have schizoaffective disorder. And that's when I was diagnosed. And that from that point on, I tried to get educated on it and things like that. And my family and friends were always there. Some friends I had and left and things like that because they didn't understand, which I have no ill will towards them. But yeah, so the ones that are supposed to be in your life stays in your life. So but yeah, that's just how it kind of happened with that situation.
Oh, that's only been for a short time, like only 4 years since you've fully understood what's going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you believe that 4 years has been long enough for you to come to terms with it, or do you say, no, I'm just at the early stages of grasping what it means and how I'm going to deal with it?
Right. I think that depends on the person, how they look at it. I think that when I first heard about it, I was in denial about it. In a sense, I was in denial about it because I knew something was up, but I didn't. Because a lot of people ask me, how did you feel once you found out you had schizoaffective disorder? I actually felt relieved. I
Yeah,
didn't
I get
feel
it.
like, yeah, I didn't feel sad or mad or anything. I was like, man, okay, now I know there was something. So within those 4 or 5 years, it was just like I had to educate myself, and I still think I'm on the path to educate myself. I don't think you ever stop growing or learning. So I think that I'm just still learning day by day when things happen or things trigger and how to manage it and how to deal with it.
Well, I have to applaud you for it. And Joe left another comment. She said, my brother suffers from
Oh,
bipolar disorder. So I guess this is good. Other people can listen to how you're coping with it. And so, and I guess that the more we talk about it, the more it prevents people from solitude and not
hmm
being understood. So I love it when you say that you've been supported by your friends and your family, and that of course those who do not understand it, okay, so they moved away from your life. But
right.
it's true. The community and the support is so important.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So so you are early 30s, if my
33.
math is correct. Yeah,
33.
so are you planning on having a family, or do you say, well, I don't know, with genes and all?
No, one day I would love to have a family and be a husband and father and things. I would love that, So actually, my ex, or not my ex, we had talked about it, but things didn't work out. So but whoever is the right woman for me, then I'm ready for that.
Yeah, and you know what it is. So, because I do believe it's genetic, right? Not,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know what the percentage is exactly, but
hmm
but you would know how to recognize it and teach your children how to deal with
Yeah.
it if they would have it. That's a big
Right.
if, of
Most
course.
definitely. Most definitely.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, well, I have to applaud you for it again. So, how do you deal with um, so I'm going back in the time that you grew up, and
hmm
so you were born before the digital age really saw the light.
hmm
So how do you deal with all those stimuli nowadays? There's so much going on and so much to do, and I mean you can get really overwhelmed if you would be looking at things on TV and social media, but also we are supposed to no longer connect with people, but more, do stuff on IT platforms of some sort. So,
Right.
yeah, so how's that for you?
At times it can be overwhelming. You see somebody that you admire up to, and it can be detrimental in a sense because you want to do those and achieve those things just like that person. But I think for me, what I'm learning as well is trying to understand that God has a plan for yourself, for you only. He has a mission for you. You know, and I try my best to follow that mission. And even the people that you look up to or the people you admire, their journey is not your journey. Everybody has their own journey, and that's what I'm realizing too with myself. I'm a huge fan of Will Smith. You know, he's like my guy, my role model. And sometimes I'm looking at him like, man, I want to do what he does, but it's like his path was not my path, and my path is not his path. So I think you got to kind of separate and differentiate the paradigm, if you will, of like that kind of thing. So, but it's okay to have role models and compare yourself in a sense where you're looking to them and be like, oh, I can do that too, but don't lose yourself in it. Don't lose yourself in it.
Yeah, I guess it's good to have a role model or several ones, and then look at, okay, so what specifically do I like from this role model? So which trait would I like to have? What is it they've done I would like to do? Or, and then you just basically amplify what you would like to do and see how you can improve it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
so true.
I yeah, I guess a lot of people don't have enough role models, or they have the wrong ones. We are
Right,
basically
right.
brought up based on our surroundings and what we've been taught, and so yeah, having a role model, I have to say, yeah, it can be very inspiring. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
most
Yeah.
definitely.
So you said you feel like God has given you a mission. So what would your mission be?
In the beginning, like I said, I feel like my mission, my specific mission, is to speak and encourage and to have the voice for the voiceless in mental health and bring back hope to the mental health sector community. I my after my spill I had with different things in 2018, or actually 2017, the healthcare center I actually go to, the shout out to the Center for Healthcare Services, they flew me out to LA to speak on their behalf. And then I got to come back to my hometown, San Antonio, and speak in front of 400 or 500 people, to speak. And then from that point on, I was doing radio, I was doing TV, I was doing interviews and my own podcast things. And I was doing a lot of stuff. And So in that sense, I felt like God's showing me something. He's showing me something. You know, all the darkness I went through, he's showing me that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, and this is the path I need to go through. And so, you know, after I think after 2019, I kind of had a spill. You know, I lost three people to that I knew very dearly to me to suicide, and like in the same year of 2020. And then this recent, back in I think September, I just lost my best friend. You know, Mac Lafayette. He was one of my best friends. I lost him, so I kind of lost myself in a sense. You know, of like having that spark again of my hope. So, and then now just, you know, losing, you know, the breakup with my girlfriend recently. It was just like I spiraled out, and I just kind of not spiraled out in the sense I was doing wild things, just spiraling out in my mind, my belief and everything went away. You know, so now I'm just trying to find the spark again to get back up and finish and continue my mission, you know, so.
Well, I have to say, with what you said, losing people, you said three people in 2019 and then again in 2020. Now
Or
last September.
2020, I lost three people. Yeah,
Okay.
in 2020, excuse me, I lost three people, yeah, to
Okay.
suicide.
Yeah, yeah, I've lost a number of people to suicide as well. Uh, and, it's how have you dealt with it? I can give you my version, but I'm curious what your version is. And by the way, here it says you should become a speaker for what he's going through. He really has a good way of expressing himself, really well spoken to.
Thank you.
And I was thinking about the same thing because you said that you actually were on a stage in LA and then later in San Antonio, and you did a podcast. So I don't know which one you want to answer first. The one, how did you deal, and are you still dealing with all those suicides, or the one, maybe we can park that one till just a little bit later about, okay, what happened with all those performances? Are they out there somewhere? Are you still doing the
Right.
podcast, or did you totally stop it? So,
Yeah, it was. I started so after the after the speaking engagements I had and things like that, and the radio, TV, and all the things I was doing, I started making my own videos. You know, I started just making my own videos. My YouTube channel had over 1,000 subscribers and everything, and then I shut the whole thing down. You know,
oh
and
wow.
yeah, I shut it down. I deleted it off, and that's why my page now it's I'm trying to rebuild it back up for like I don't umpteen time, and it's just I go through these things where I don't feel connected as much as well as my purpose, but I know this is my purpose. Is like the guy or the person said, to be a speaker. You know, I know this is my purpose, but I don't know the how to, you know, the how to
Oh,
kind of get paid speaking gigs, to get out there more and get. So I just be like, oh, forget it. But I got to remember that this is my mission. I have to keep reminding myself, you know, so I kind of
well, you
stop
just
and
start
start, stop
again.
and start. Yeah.
And use a lot of hashtags.
Yeah.
So, so, have you saved all those videos you posted on YouTube?
It's funny. I had all of them on my old Facebook, but my Facebook got hacked. So I had to start
Oh
another
no.
Facebook. So the Facebook we were on, that's my new Facebook. You
Hmm.
know, so no, I don't have the
Oh,
videos.
that's a shame. So, you might be able to actually use some apps to download those videos if you still can watch the old Facebook account. So maybe
And
you don't have access to it, but you can still, watch it. And you
oh,
probably should be able to copy the links and download all it because it would be a
I didn't think
shame if
about
it
that.
would go to waste.
Right, I didn't think about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm sometimes a little tech savvy every
Yeah,
once in a while when I really want to get my stuff, you know.
yeah.
So, say you are going to do, because the podcast, is that still out there or is that deleted too?
It's out there, but I haven't continued with it. It was the Mind Me Project podcast, and I interviewed about 3 people, and yeah, I haven't went further with it yet. So yeah.
Okay, so you can continue on with that one. That's something.
Hmm.
And hopefully you can rescue those videos and then you would have audio too. So we know Evan Carmichael, of course, and for those out there who do not know Evan Carmichael, he is the YouTube expert. So he knows all about how to grow and monetize your YouTube platform or your YouTube account. And one of
Hmm.
the things he says, actually, and I don't know if you heard him say it, is just post all the stuff on there. And even if you don't like it,
Right.
in a decade, you will look back on it and you will have a blast watching it because you will see your progress. And that's
Right.
actually why he's posting a lot of his earlier YouTube videos as well. So you can actually
Right.
see
See what
those
came.
pictures where he was still really young, and just. I'm not saying you're not cute, Evan,
Oh no,
in case he's watching
that's
this.
funny.
But you know what I mean, right?
Hmm.
So, and I do have to admit that I do have some videos out there from back in the day, I guess at a different YouTube account.
Hmm.
And I don't know, I might repost them. I have to say that looking back at those and now seeing what I'm doing nowadays, that has made such a big
Mm.
difference.
Yeah.
But it's also for other people to learn. I mean, if we show the world that it's okay to have videos on there where we don't feel really comfortable with, as in, I mean, look at my hair. If I go to the hairdressers, I have
Right.
way better hair than I have right now, and of course the color
Oh, you
is
look
good.
good.
There's no gray in there. I mean,
Oh,
I,
you
I went there
look
last Saturday, but she knows how to make it all curly and all that stuff.
good.
But
Right.
having said so, this is about the conversation that you and I are having.
Hmm.
And yeah, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I get a little bit distracted by the comments,
Oh,
and
it's
she agrees with what we said. For your information, I got the big H of ADHD, so the
oh yeah.
hypomania effect. So I can be really, going back and forth to different stuff. So I really have to focus myself. So
Yeah, I understand.
yeah, it's yeah, the wiring is a little off. So people are always a little bit surprised that I can fall asleep drinking coffee, but
Yeah.
that's the way it works. It works the other way around.
Yeah, I'm
So
the
that's
same
it.
way. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, yeah, it's so funny because there's friends and she says, "Can you really drink caffeine and more caffeine?" And if people ask me if I want a decaf, because I don't like the strong taste of coffee. I like it
Right.
like when it's subtle.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
so when I go to the Starbucks, I have this whole list of how it should be. And sometimes I actually have a sticker on there, so they can read it.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's not because of the caffeine. It's just because I like the subtle flavor. But
Mhm.
having said so, when it's really, especially when it's really busy out on the road, or there's a lot of people wanting something from me, and there's a lot of impulses and input, um, it can basically wear me down. And
Mm.
so I take my time to rest every few hours if needed, and if not needed, then fine. But um, I'm sorry, I tried to do a serious conversation with you, and then I see those
It's
comments.
okay. No, it's
I'm
okay. I
sorry.
love it. I love it. Keep
That's
bringing
okay.
comments.
Yeah, okay. So she's talking about Costa Coffee and loving the
Oh.
lattes too. So, and those who know me, they know that I can't live without Starbucks.
Mm.
Although I recently did, I went to Spain for 2 weeks to help out
Oh
another
wow.
client, and and he was in the middle of nowhere, and you know I was like, how's that possible? There was this tiny village, and there was like 3 pubs over there, and one had like all sorts of beer, including the Dutch ones and Belgian ones,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Then there was one which had ice cream and coffee, and then there was sort of a regular one. But after 7 o'clock, there was no more coffee. Of course, there
Wow.
was beer, but there was no more coffee. And I was like, oh my God, how do you survive in a place like that when you feel alone
Mm.
and you don't feel heard? You are like, okay, I need to get out there among people, but most
Right.
people. So would you be able to live in a village like that? Or would you have to say, I need to be amongst people, be able to get out there, go to whatever, Starbucks, Denny's, or whatever you want to go to, and
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I love people. I would have to be around people. I feel like I'm a people's person, for the most part. But I love people, man. I love people, hearing people's stories and dreams and inspirations and things like that. So I just love people. So I would be around
oh,
people.
that's so sweet. Oh, you're getting a big hug because you're so sweet.
Oh.
You didn't know it because the one who's answering, you see a male on there, but she is a female. So she's
Oh,
young.
okay. Cool. Cool.
And she's a very pretty lady with blue eyes. And she said you can see your people person. So,
Oh, thank you.
so you said something, and it's funny because my one word is hashtag inclusion,
Mm.
and that should speak to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It does.
so I
Wow.
actually took the pledge to for inclusion. I always say it's spread the word of global where you can go.
Hmm.
And this year it was about connection, what they said. But in reading Evan Carmichael's book, I don't know. Yeah, you of course you have read the
Oh
book,
yeah. Yeah.
Built to Serve. He talks about the one word and what we want to get across, what our mission is. And
Hmm.
I've been thinking about my word for a while, and
Yeah.
the lady who is commenting right now, she has a picture on there from Jason Begay, and he had an interview, and he was talking about pledging to spread inclusion. And then when I heard it, it was like, oh, but that's my word, and we don't have it in the Netherlands. So there's
Right.
no word other than inclusive, for instance.
Hmm.
But really pointing out like, hey, you're good enough the way you are, and okay, maybe you're a little bit different in the way you react or how you perceive things, but you're
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
So and so that's why I love the word inclusion, and it really spoke to me because I've always been what I call the old one out,
Mm.
starting from the moment I grew up. I was, so in the Netherlands, everyone was blonde with blue eyes, and there were
Mm.
only a few out there like me, really a few out there. So I
Right.
guess that back in the 80s, they started coming, and nowadays, if you look around me, I guess half of the people are more with black hair and brown eyes, and the other half
Right.
is like blonde with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I I got bullied a lot because of it, because they found it scary, the dark eyes. If you're used to blue eyes, and then suddenly there's
Right.
someone with the dark eyes, how does that work? So
Yeah.
um, so I had to learn to deal with that, and
Hmm.
I became a daydreamer because of it.
Yeah.
And then when I was in high school, I became this metalhead. So there were 4 of us. So I
Yeah.
actually wore those leopard skin pants,
Oh
with
man.
the red skirts with
Yeah.
the spots on there.
Yeah.
And the scarf, back then was with glam metal and hair metal. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, that's, but there were only like 4 of us at a school of 300 plus people.
Mm.
So I stood out again.
Right.
And so yeah, and and then later on when I started to work, um, part of it was when I went to the Academy of Arts, I sort of fitted
Mm,
in, and then again I didn't
right.
because I'd been working for a year in between. So
Mm,
I didn't, the people there, the students, they didn't have the experience of being out there, in the big world
right. Yeah.
working, and so it changed me a lot, but I didn't know how to speak out, and
Mm,
and and so I was always a little bit running behind because I had to see what people did in order to get to understand it.
mm-hmm.
So um, yeah, I guess when it comes to mission and all that stuff, I totally get it, and of course, well, not of course, you don't know it, but I'm learning to walk again without crutches. So 7 years ago,
Oh,
I tripped on a brick and I twisted my
mm,
ankle, a bone got loose, and I tore
oh,
a ligament and the tendon popped through it. So
mm,
I was only able to stand on a foot and some toes.
right, man. Yeesh.
Yeah, so that does something to freedom. And in
Mhm.
order to get help, because I need help wherever I go, well, I needed help wherever I went.
Right.
I needed to ask people for help. Well, that makes if you're not capable of speaking out, then you are,
Yeah.
So,
Sure. Yeah.
but what's the reason I'm saying so? Oh yeah, when it comes to being different, I don't know how they knew it, but even when I was in IT, I was always, in some sort of customer provider relationship, whether I was the customer or whether I was the provider. And I always got those that people didn't want to serve. I got
Mm,
those
oh,
accounts, and I loved it. By the way, I was
mm,
totally okay with it. I guess I resonated with it,
right.
and so for me, it's so important to have to so that everyone feels heard and that they are seen the way they are and that we are okay with the way they are.
Right.
And so, what was your main message on YouTube or when you were on stage, you were at a speaking event? What's the one that stuck with you the most?
The one that stuck with me the most is just I know I kept saying this one thing over and over again. I kept saying keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. I kept saying that over in my videos, and I would watch them, and I'd be like, I keep saying that.
Yeah,
So that's one thing that for me is important to keep moving forward in life and things of that nature, because no matter what happens, it's gonna all pan out at the end of the day. So I just kept telling myself, yeah, for myself and other people that I was speaking to, is just keep moving forward, keep moving forward. So that was a lot of things that stuck out for me. And as funny as you're talking, I used to think that hope was my one word. Maybe it still is, I don't know, but I found that connection is very important to me. I love to connect with people and engage and talk and things like that. So I don't know. I think connection is very important to me as well. If I don't have connection, it's like, especially if I don't have self-expression connection where I can express myself connected, it's like, oh no, it's not good.
I
So
think self-expression is even stronger than connection.
yeah. I mean, would that be one word, or can I just say
Yeah, that
expression
could
would be
be.
my okay?
Well,
I just
engaging could be. It could be expression, but connection. That's why Evan says take 3 words
oh yeah,
and see which one resonates with all of it.
right.
So for me, the whole speaking out um, has to do with courage, the
Mm,
courage to voice yourself, the confidence, as in to keep doing it. It also has to do with authenticity because it shows who you are. So I don't know
right.
if you can see it, but my hair is actually blue. It's black
Oh,
with blue.
oh, I can see the light up there. Okay, okay, I see
No,
it
no,
now.
it's yeah, it's blue. The gray hair
Yeah.
is blue. That's one advantage of gray hair with
Yeah.
black hair. I don't think you've ever done it, but try to bleach it, and it's just not good. So
Hmm.
what is he saying? It's good to express yourself, especially when suffering what he has. It helps them build their confidence. Yeah, I
True.
totally agree.
True.
And um, so yeah, you could think about it, and we could talk about it next time. I hear you say engage, connection, self-expression.
Hmm.
So is there one that's overlapping, like it includes all?
Oh, that's a
Could
good
you function
question.
as an umbrella?
I would have to think about that. I would have to think about that. Good question. But yeah, I'll
Well,
write that down. Engagement. Yeah. Engagement. But yeah, so I would have to definitely think about that. So,
so if you were to say do another podcast again, so you would need guests in order to do a podcast. So
yeah, 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 yeah.
okay, well, Joe already said she wanted to join in next time with both
Oh,
of
okay.
us, so maybe we can come to your podcast.
Okay, yeah.
So
I would have to set it up again.
what would be your message you want to get across with your podcast?
On my podcast. Well, my podcast, I really want to share other people's stories. It was I think the tagline was "Ordinary People with Extraordinary Stories" or something like that. So I just want to share other people's stories because there's millions and millions of people out there. Even though schizoaffective disorder is only 1% of the population, but it's like still people deal with mental health issues out there, and so I would want to um, share people's stories and hopefully inspire other people or the listeners or whoever wants to watch or listen.
I would love that. Yeah, I mean
I'm actually
it's so important. Yeah.
I'm actually
Yeah.
thinking. I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry. I'm actually thinking of making that a business for myself. Is
Good.
podcasts. That I think
Good.
that's the thing I'm kind of leaning towards more. Um, I'm just like I said, a lot of times I don't know the how to, so
Hmm.
I'm still learning how to. But I know, like you said, Evan Carmichael says, just post, just
We're
go and
just going
post.
to talk about it and see where you end up. I mean, we're going to talk a lot of time still after this one. So,
Yes.
and you already have someone who wants to be a guest. That's Jo. She says she has
Okay.
some good stories and she suffers mental health. Actually, we
Ooh.
already did an interview. It's on my Instagram account and also my YouTube channel. So
I'm gonna have
if
to
you look
check out your
Lady
YouTube
Lexus
channel.
live on the road, then you'll see it.
Okay.
So it's the same. Whether you go to Instagram, it's Lady Lexus live on the road, and it's the same on YouTube.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
yeah, so say I would challenge you to do a podcast with someone, whether it was Joe or with someone else or me or
Hmm.
anyone of your choosing,
Hmm.
and I assume that you still would maintain the phrase ordinary people with extraordinary skills. What was it?
Right. Well, I mean, for my podcast, the tagline would be "My illness never defines me." That's would be like the tagline for it. But for the podcast, it would be sharing your stories with ordinary people, extraordinary stories.
But what? Oh, because I actually would like to hear you share those stories about my illness never defines me on the podcast too.
Yeah, yeah. That's the
So
whole basis of it.
yeah, because
Okay.
I believe that so many people. How do I say this? Um, One of the fears my husband has, I used to say soon to be ex-husband, but it's taking a long period of time.
Right.
So um, his fear was that I would end up in a wheelchair someday because I've got EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So that means
Mm.
that I'm hyperflexible, hypermobile,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, I could do step lessons and twist my ankle like every time. And then 10 minutes later, I would be back on that step again. But,
Oh, wow.
getting older um, and yeah, by some weird coincidence, something happened. And the reason that it went wrong like 7 years ago was because I grabbed a hold of someone, and she was trained that once someone would reach out to her and touch her, that she had to step away. So
Mm-hmm.
just imagine what she has been taught in her youth
Mm-hmm.
to learn that once you get touched by someone, they basically say, "Get out of my way."
Mm.
That's horrible if you think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So and that's why I lost my balance, and it all went haywire. If I would have been able to hold on to her, nothing would have happened. But
Mm-hmm.
um, so I actually have a wheelchair in the back of my car. It's not been there for a while now, and it's
Mm-hmm.
only there in case of emergency nowadays. So I
Mm-hmm.
needed it for a long while still after my second surgery. But right now I'm probably not even using crutches anymore if everything goes the way it should, because I've
Right.
got this very cool brace. It's called the CPI brace, so I feel
Mm.
like the bionic woman when wearing it. So with stars and stripes on it, because I love stars and stripes, so everybody thinks
Oh,
like,
cool.
"Oh, you must be a patriot or something," and I'm not
Right.
even from the US, so that's kind of funny. I would
Yeah.
love to live there. That's a different story. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that's why I say my illness never defines me. It could be that, of course, a secondary line to
Okay.
ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, one doesn't exclude the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, Joey's from Texas.
Oh,
You
okay.
are from Austin, Texas. That's what you said, right?
San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, San Antonio. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's okay.
Well, next time I'll remember it. So, um, so we've been talking for, I don't know, about 50 minutes, I think
Yeah.
already, unless I'm
Yeah.
mistaken. So, what do you think about that idea that you're going to do a podcast with someone? I mean, if you want to
I
do,
hmm Yeah, I
do you
love
have
it. I
someone in
love
mind?
it. I'm ready for it. Just just gotta do it. That's the only thing. It's gotta continue to do it. I've been doing it, but I stopped it for a while, so I just gotta continue to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great idea because it puts everything that I feel like I'm gifted at in all one, connection, engagement, self-expression. I get to do it all in one setting, with my podcast. So, and then I get to tell my story a little bit, let other people tell their story and go from there.
Yeah, expression. There's that word. You said self-expression, and now it's expression. So, yeah, cool. So, do you have someone in mind? Do I need to say to Joe, who's still
Oh
listening,
yeah, Joe
that you want to do one with her? And she's talking
that'll be
about
nice.
Chicago.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
Chicago.
we like a lot of One Chicago together.
Oh,
So
okay, cool.
we are
Yeah.
both One Chicago fans.
Oh,
So that's
cool.
why she said it. So she didn't hear that you said that your ex-girlfriend was formerly from Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, yeah.
She
Or
didn't hear it.
Rockford, or yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
So, but yeah, I would love to connect with the person and just DM me, hit me up, or whatever you want to do.
okay. Well, I'll make sure that she finds you. And of course, if you want me on your podcast, then
Oh yeah, of
just
course.
let me know.
Will do.
But I'm going to give you a challenge, um,
Okay.
and that's to do one podcast and see if it's possible to. And I might have somewhere a link to that program, which might be able to get those videos out there. But see if you can find some of the old footage.
Okay, yeah,
And
I will.
let's see how we can make this into business for you.
Okay,
But it starts with getting out there and getting all
yeah.
this stuff out there again. And
Yeah.
maybe, but I don't want to overwhelm you the first time around. You can see if you did those speaking gigs back in 2017. Maybe they have some reviews on there about it, or they've recorded it somewhere.
Right.
There might be some footage.
I actually have the footage on my drive, my little UPS drive. Yeah, I haven't put it
Yeah.
out there on the. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Hmm.
So maybe next time we can also talk about what are you going to do with the footage.
Right.
So imposter syndrome is not allowed anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I can never tell you, of course, what's allowed and what's not allowed. But if you want to make it your business, then let's put it this way: you're good the way you are.
Yeah. I
Let
appreciate
it
that.
sink in for a second. You are good
Yeah.
the way you are. And,
Thank you.
there are already two of us out there wanting to hug you. So one from the UK and I'm from the Netherlands. So all the way
Mm.
from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, you're getting hugs.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So, so never doubt that. So, of course, you have to be comfortable to a degree, and you have
Hmm.
to be comfortable well, uncomfortable to a degree, because if you start to wait till you're comfortable, then either you never put it up or you always take it down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So,
true. Hmm.
what do you think about those challenges?
I'm up for 'em. I'm up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you think if we would say like do this every Thursday around the same
Yeah.
time? Would you like that?
Yeah. Hmm. That'd be cool.
And
That'd be
then
cool.
I'll hold you to it. Here it says, "You're so lovely. Hope you get what you want because you deserve it so much." Well, see?
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. That means a lot.
Well, you just have to look at those vids that you posted out there on your Instagram, and you just can see it. You want to inspire people, and make sure that they know that whatever happens, whatever life throws at you, that you can overcome it.
Yeah.
And you said something about those people committing suicide, and um, it if we can prevent people from not feeling good enough and hence from committing suicide, because usually it's because they don't see a way out.
Yeah.
They feel like
Yeah.
whether it's lots of doubt or the um, well, of course there are a lot of different reasons, but most of it has to do with like they feel like they're failing their family or themselves. I don't know if you can relate to it.
Yeah. Most definitely can. Yeah.
Yeah,
Most
and
definitely.
if we can somehow tell people reach out to us, for instance,
Hmm.
or at least to me. I don't know if they can reach out to you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I guess that could be the beginning of making a difference. My goal is, or my mission is, to leave a legacy for generations to come, where people
Mm.
learn that they can speak up and be understood and be valued and seen for who they are. So
Yeah. For sure.
yeah, that
That's
would be
lovely.
nice. Okay, so I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to
Oh,
say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
oh, thank you. Thank you.
Fonda, for being here with me. And same time next week, we'll
Yeah.
be on live again. So
All right.
cool.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye bye.